From Thomas Edison's phonograph in 1877 and Bell Labs' Voda in 1936 to the digital, personal assistants and AI voices of the present, such as Alexa and Lyrebird. The production of the voice has long been successfully outsourced to complex technological and computational processes. Recording technologies and vocal interfaces disembody the voice from its human source, bringing friction to notions of agency, identity, and subjectivity. If, as Adriana Cavarero suggests, the voice is the expression of the deep body, fleshy, unique, revealing the unrepeatable vitality of every human being, how does the perfect reproduction of human speech by machines challenge our understanding of what qualifies or not as human? In his essay,
The idea that the fabrication of consciousness belongs to science and historicity as much as to fiction, aesthetics arriving from the outside, follow Philip K. Dick in The Hunt for the Manifold, or partially actualized realities, lying tangent to this one, the one that the majority of us agree on, by consensus gentium. They can appear as a body of memory, intact and entire. The artist just has to be willing to talk about them. She may be talking about a recent discovery, or something that does not exist at all. Therefore she is free to say everything, or nothing. Follow Octavia Butler, and her need to tell stories which act as self-fulfilling prophecies. Desensitization. The storyteller is a programmer. She articulates, fuses and reprograms actualized and speculative variables through a selection and reselection process of world building, thereby generating branched-off lateral worlds. Lately we have been listening to laments. Greek laments of joy, fictional Armenian laments, German laments, a new genre yet to come, animal laments, Persian laments, British theory fiction laments, black study laments, non-binary trans laments, death doulas keening, AI laments, audience-wising polyphonic mix, is based on the Unsound Undead book, published by Urbanomic. It is an interchange between Steve Goodman, Susanna Zampf and Eleni Ikon's audio pieces, circumscribed by the rogue artificial intelligence known as IREX2. Through our research, we have discovered a new sound. Sonic events that do not take place within the spectrum of the living and the perceptible, emerging from counterfactual and counterfictional thinking, belonging to zones of transmission between life and death, to subaquatic, Cthulhu-esque, non-human forms of life, and to unsound, vibrational milieus, inaccessible to the senses. Perceptible sound is only a subset of the broader vibrational continuum, audient has been spreading and growing across the 20th century as a corrosive, alien, amoeboidal entity that devours and dissolves, growing larger and more aggressive each time it does so. Lately, it seems to be slowing down and opening up. It is targeting more selectively those who find themselves at odds with their subject, their discipline, and their existence. Those who find themselves seeking to be part of a space somewhere
in the
between
song Full of
cinemas and
Fire,
subcultures,
Karen
steady
Greer
groups
Anderson's
and raves,
distinctive breathy groan
rooftops and artist
seems
studios,
to partake in a
where
conversation
experimental
with a
practices and
pitched-down,
collectivities are tested,
darkly
where
mechanized
bodies
voice,
congregate,
distorted
new
into an
effects,
ominous gender,
visibilities,
neutrality,
and audibilities are produced. Demands are
melodic
enunciated.
phrases
New
are
subjectivities
passed back and
synthesized.
forth between
In
the
the
two,
past few months,
unsettling any
we have been
notions of
assembling
which
a
one
theory
is the
fiction
original.
kit. The objects are
Both
not
the
there
track
as
and its
historical
music video
artifacts,
are
but
heavily
as
referencing
audiovisual
gender and
vectors
queer theory,
that will acquire a new
featuring
function,
voices, noisily
rhythmoanalytic
shifting through male and
machine,
female registers,
acting on the culture's
and
consciousness.
characters, who refuse to
The code for the
identify
numbers
strictly
to
as
come.
either.
Odin doesn't have a star sign,
The same
but
article
it does have an orisha.
mentions Holly Herndon's track
We do not
Breathe,
know yet what it is.
which is composed primarily of the singer's
doesn't have a
inhalations
superpower,
and
but it does have
exhalations,
an orisha.
zooming in on the excesses
We do
and
not know yet what
paralinguistic
it
elements
is.
of the voice, which are then
We are
modeled
engaged in black
computationally.
study. The end of
Borkowski
the world
pauses
as we know it.
on how each rattling
Apocalypse
breath
now.
becomes increasingly pixelated
Futurisms.
as the most basic gesture of
Deprogramming
vocal production
temporality.
is flayed out into an electrified asthma attack. Through digital production, Herndon's voice is sliced into its most microscopic gestures, so as to investigate it, without its anthropic guises of lyrics or melody. Contrary to Cavarero's idea of the voice as always somebody's, the disembodied, or acousmatic, as Pierre Schaeffer would say, voice has no origin in a given body. Specific identity, the vocal signature which, as we learn from Petman, is swallowed up by the technological process. This is also evident in certain body-based live art practices, in particular those that involve lip-syncing and ventriloquizing, often minority, unknown, unheard, lost, repressed, or otherwise marginalized voices. In the above-mentioned examples, voice, technology, and otherness are intimately linked. These entangled human-machine polyvocalities invoke a politics of otherness, which female, queer, black, and trans minorities have historically been accustomed to. Having been excluded from humanist political economy, unnameable, denied subjectivity or a self, these peripheral voices embrace their fugitive status. As I have described elsewhere, fugitivity, for Fred Moten and Stefano Hani, is not only a mode of escape, exit, or exodus, but what it means to think of being as separate from settling, a being that is always in motion. It is the art of making life in the context of extreme deprivation, dispossession, and assault, as we learn from Saidiya Hartman. The dispossessed are those who have been denied selfhood, perspective, citizenship, home, but who, at the same time, must refuse them. Refusing to be a possessive subject, says Moten, not owning objects, occupying grids, or forming nuclear families, but instead, inhabiting and amplifying the status of the non-human. This is more destabilizing, dangerous, and threatening to binary thought and Eurocentric, universalized consciousness. Becoming woman, becoming animal, becoming machine, becoming other, is established through diversity, multiplicity, and the destruction of identity. Female, gender, queer, artificial, monstrous, and purposeless polyvocalities are entangled in non-human history, contesting prescribed futures, and opening up sites of possibility. To quote Philippi, in its voiding of soloistic function, the voice expands its field of apparition, welcomes its others, and maintains its post-human composition. As my examples demonstrate, a voice cannot be said to belong to a body, per se. It is never perfect or real. It is corrected, perfected, manipulated. It passes through a chain of software effects. It is an affect without a cause. A voice is not natural or authentic. It speaks through another's body, unhoused and ventriloquized. It makes alliances across the killing divisions of nature, culture, and technology, and of organism, language, and machine, as we learn from Haraway. Unveiling the incompleteness of knowledge, a voice is a break, augmenting the alienness of the other, and thus of the human. As category,